This debate is sponsored by Natchez Federal Credit Union. KFDM and Fox 4 present the Beaumont City Mayoral Candidate Debate. Moderated by Aaron Drawhorn and Kimberly Rusley.
Well, good evening to you, and thank you for joining us tonight. Instead of Fox 4 News at 9, you're tuning into the 2025 Beaumont Mayoral Debate. I'm Kimberly Rusley.
And I'm Aaron Drawhorn. We'll be serving as your moderators tonight. 5 candidates are here in the KFDM Fox 4 studio ready to make the push for your vote.
That's right. Early voting is underway for the May 3rd election, when you, the voter, will choose who sits in that seat on Beaumont City Council. This is video from Rogers Park, always one of the busiest polling locations traditionally. Tonight, the mayoral candidates are in alphabetical order by last name: Randy Feldschau, Christopher Jones, Robin Mouton, Jude Paredez, and incumbent Mayor Roy West.
First, let's go over the rules of the debate. Each candidate will get to answer each question and will be given equal time. You both get 1 minute to answer the question directed to you, then a 1-minute rebuttal from the other candidates.
We will also have a lightning round of viewer-submitted questions where each candidate will have just 15 seconds to respond. For any answer when you hear this bell, your time is up, but you can finish your sentence. And since we have 5 candidates for this debate, there will be no coin toss. Instead, we will start with alphabetical order. This means that Randy Feldschau will go first.
Right. Well, first of all, let me say KDFM and Aaron Kimberly, thank you for this opportunity. Good evening. I am Randy Feldschau, and I'm running for Beaumont City Mayor. Born in Beaumont, been pastoring One City Church for the last 19 years. Been your city council member at large for the last 6 years, married, 2 children, and 6 grandchildren. You know, a man's past has a voice and speaks to the character of his life or even the like thereof. For the last 19 years, I've been serving in the city of Beaumont, trying very hard to better the lives of our citizens, whether it's through racial reconciliation, disaster relief, or addressing the many concerns that we all have, whether it's homelessness, crime in our streets, or sex trafficking, or poverty. I want you to know that I have tried very hard to build bridges to all the communities within our city, black, white, and brown, to bring us together and to celebrate our diversity. And please know this, Beaumont, what I've done on council, I was doing before I got on council, and I'll be doing long after I leave council. I am Randy Feldschau, and I am seeking election for Beaumont City Mayor.
Now, Mr. Jones, your 1-minute opening statement.
Again, thank you all for this invitation and this great opportunity to speak to our neighbors. My name is Christopher Jones. I'm known as Unc in our community. I'm an Army veteran, a small business owner. I am a longtime son of the city of Beaumont, and I've walked these streets for many years, especially as a youth. I've knocked on doors and stood in and by people of our communities. And I'm looking forward to being the next mayor of the city of Beaumont, because Beaumont deserves leadership that listens, that works tirelessly for the citizens of Beaumont. We have a young and thriving community, and I'm looking to represent our city in a space of innovation, in a space of revenue increases, and again, bringing our city collectively together. Again, my name is Christopher Unc Jones, and I'm running for mayor here in Beaumont, Texas.
Now, Ms. Mouton, your 1-minute opening statement, ma'am.
Good evening, and Aaron and Kimberly, thank you, and also to Natchez Federal Credit Union. I am Robin Donata Mouton. I am running for mayor of this great city. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm a mother. I am a wife of 46 years, a mother of 2, a grandmother of 3. I am an AT&T retiree. I am also a Communication Workers of America union member for 32 years. I'm a lifelong resident of Beaumont. I have served this city for 6 years as Ward 4 council, and I've also served this city as a successful mayor for 2 years previously. I'm excited about being in this race. I love this city. I believe Beaumont has the potential to be the jewel of Texas, and I am running to make sure that that does happen. We have some wonderful, wonderful things here in Beaumont, and I am running to make sure that all of that is brought to all of the citizens here. Thank you.
Mr. Paredez, your 1 minute opening statement.
Okay, my name is Jude Paredez, and I was born here in Beaumont and have enjoyed living here for 62 years. Graduated from Lamar University with a degree in nursing and enjoyed a career in nursing as well as several other careers before I'm retired recently. And still working because Social Security is not quite enough to pay all your bills. But about 30 years ago, I first ran for mayor. The debt of the city at that time was about $150 million. And I saw a trend of interest on the debt beginning to subtract from the services that the city could provide. And I wanted to bring attention to that at that time. Now the interest on now the debt itself is $250 million plus, and interest is even more. And we are experiencing, we're having the firefighters and police cannot get their raise because of the interest that we have to pay out on the debt. So my main focus will be controlling the debt.
All right, Mr. West, your 1 minute opening statement, sir.
Well, thank you, Kimberly and Aaron, and certainly thank you to all the viewers that are tuned in tonight and Fox 4 and KFDM. My name is Roy West. I have the privilege of currently serving as mayor, and my wife and I have 5 adult children, all of which are married, and we have 10 grandkids. 3 of our kids live here in Beaumont and 7 of our grandkids, so that's a big why. I was born and raised here. I still own a business here. I own real estate here. And Beaumont's been very good to me. And this is an incredible city with incredible opportunities. And 2 years ago when I ran, with the idea that we're going to lower crime, and we've done that. We've increased the number of ambulances. We've begun to deal with the deteriorating downtown with enhanced code enforcement and vacant building ordinance. We have many challenges that we've been addressing, and we've done a lot in the last 2 years. I'm excited about the progress we're making. I'm excited about the future of Beaumont. I'm excited about the opportunities that we all have, and I know that all of us love this great city, and I look forward to this forum tonight. Thank you.
Mr. West, thank you very much for your opening statement. Now let's get to our first question. It has to do with priorities. If you are elected as mayor, what is your first priority if elected? Mr. Feldschau, you answer first, sir, and you have 1 minute.
I do believe that the citizens of Beaumont have reached a new level of frustration and are looking for leadership that will simply do what is right. 5 things that I will focus on. Number 1 is fiscal responsibility, a sensible approach to downtown development, greater attention to Beaumont's sewer problems, especially those areas where there's backing up every time there's 2 inches of rain, support for first responders, creating a partnership between civic, business, and religious leaders, because I do believe that the crime in Beaumont we know is a moral issue, and it's going to take a partnership with all of us. And then 5, restoring strong leadership and respect back to the mayor's office. Now know this, Beaumont, you should expect more from your leaders. You should expect better from your leaders, beginning with me.
Mr. Feldschau, thank you very much. The question to you now, Mr. Jones.
I'm looking forward to bringing revenues back into our city, and I'm talking about into our city. I'm looking at innovative ways that we could retain our residents here in our city, as well as engage with our youth to curtail some of the problems that they are having. Meeting needs in families and restoring trust in our city government again is what I look forward to do as mayor. Again, we have for years been in this place and in this space, and we have engaged with many residents throughout the city of Beaumont. We will continue to do that. We will continue to listen, and we will continue to lead as a follower here in our city of Beaumont.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. The question goes to you now, Ms. Mouton. Your first priority if elected.
My first priority, if elected, would be safety. Safety, infrastructure, unity, and prosperity. I believe that if we don't have a safe city, regardless of what we bring to the city, If you're not safe or you don't feel safe, you will not want to go anywhere. So I believe safety is a main priority. And of course, infrastructure. Infrastructure is part of every city. It's nothing unique to Beaumont, but you must have proper infrastructure to function on a daily basis. And that is my first priority to the citizens.
Ms. Mouton, thank you very much. Mr. Paredez, the question to you, sir.
Hello, I'm looking forward to spending your money on maintaining the streets and sewer lines, water lines. What we already have, we need to take care of. And I want to avoid putting new debt onto you, a new $100 million debt that's being pushed by the current administration. So we'll want to stop the canal to nowhere and keep our money and spend it to take care of what we already have.
Mr. Paredez, thank you very much. Mr. West.
Well, we've been making great progress in the last 2 years, and I'm excited about what we've done, and I'm excited about continuing it. Whether it's the Real-Time Crime Center, where we've gotten over 5,000 cameras integrated or registered online, lowering crime rate, increasing the number of ambulances. We've spent tens of millions of dollars on our sewer and water. We have more work to do, but we're doing it at a far faster pace than we've done in the prior years. The last 2 years, we've had much success on that. This past spring, we had a new youth initiative where we had over 300 youth at Sterling Pruitt playing basketball. We had 2 dance teams as well as 2 cheerleading teams. And certainly downtown, making progress down there, doing a pre-development agreement on a full-service convention center hotel that would make such a beautiful addition to our downtown and also attract a lot of new revenue to our city, which could be spent all over this city.
Now to our second question. It's directed to you, Mr. Jones, but of course open to all for a response regarding the level of experience each candidate has. Mr. Jones and Mr. Paredez, you're political newcomers. You have not held political office before, although you're involved in your community. So the question is, do you think your lack of experience will inhibit your role if elected? And for Mr. Feldschau, Ms. Mouton, and Mr. West, some people have expressed a desire for new leadership, but do you think putting someone with no political experience in office would be a mistake? Of course, Mr. Jones, your answer first.
Actually, many individuals who I've engaged with in this space as a community leader, as a PTA president of our district, again, as a neighbor, have spoken to us that they're tired of the status quo. And so many of my opponents actually are part of that same status quo. So not having an elected position is not a problem for many individuals who we've engaged with in our campaign, as well as understanding that the alleged leadership and experience that some of my opponents speak of is the reason that we're here in the first place. And with the lack of that, I guess, like attachment to a stagnant city, a city that loses its residents consistently, I think our neighbors have decided that I'm the best individual for this job.
Now, Ms. Mouton, your response.
I would like to say, because of my experience of being a past mayor, doing the work does not inhibit me, or it's not a problem for me to walk into this seat. I've done the work before. That's why I was able to bring $26.4 million to the Port of Beaumont. I was able to sign off on the $1 billion OCI methanol refinery. Also able to sign off on the Real-Time Crime Center. Those are the things that I've done, and that's my experience in being a leader and being a former mayor. I walk in day one already knowing what to do, having the experience, and already have done the work. I'm excited about getting back in to continue the work that I have begun.
Mr. Paredez.
I have run against several mayors who had a lot of experience at raising your taxes, so experience it's not necessarily something so desirable. Sometimes you would like a new broom to sweep clean, and that's what the challengers represent. And thank you everyone for watching this show, and I hope you vote May 3rd.
And now your answer, Mr. West.
Well, I know that it's certainly a benefit to having served in this capacity, because I've learned a lot in the last 2 years, but certainly know the challenges that are still before us and the improvements that we made, but there's more improvements to be made. And I'm excited about the steps that we've taken, the foundation that we've laid to build upon, to build that success for economic development, so that we can also continue the significant improvement we're making on sewer and water, as well as making our city more attractive, to be able to keep our kids here, to be able to be inviting to young families to want to live here, and to continue to bring industry here. We have a lot of industry here, but we're always looking for new opportunities, new industry. I believe being right here on Interstate 10 and with a wonderful port, we have a great future ahead, and I'm excited about being a part of it.
Now, Mr. Feldschau.
One thing I've experienced over the last 2 years is what happens whenever you have a mayor who had no prior experience on city council. The results of that being mistake after mistake after mistake. When I first got on council in 2019, I don't know how many times I heard the word no. When I would go to the city manager and ask him, I want to do this or I want to do that, and he'd say, Councilman, you can't do that, either because the city charter, because of state law, or because it takes 4 votes to get anything done. Municipal government is something you have to understand and experience in order to serve effectively. And so I believe experience is critical. I believe it's important that we have people in this seat who understands how municipal government works and how to work with the council to bring them to a consensus and then move them forward to a common goal. It's not easy to be in the mayor's seat. That's a challenge. And it takes the strength of leadership and the strength of character to work with and with the city manager and with the city council to get anything done at City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Feldschau. Now let's get to our third question, and this one is directed to you, Ms. Mouton. Your campaign posted a video on Facebook on April 13th. This is it right now. Your caption was, quote, "Here's a video sharing my vision for improving crime in our city." In the video, which made some headlines, you blamed Mayor Roy West and City Councilman Randy Feldschau, your opponents, quote, "for the lack of progress in combating the crime rate in our city," unquote. And as KFDM reported, the president of the police union even fired back, saying the video was full of inaccuracies. So we want you to respond to the video. And are you concerned this video will create any division and make it more difficult to work with police and firefighters? Ms. Mouton, you have 1 minute to answer the question.
Well, my concern regarding the lesser qualified candidate was not in reference to the current police chief, Tim Oknichek, who I certainly believe is qualified. It was in reference to the initial 4 candidates that was interviewed for chief of police position when the city had spent thousands of dollars to go out and find a candidate. The city manager spent $70,000 at the direction of the mayor and Councilmember Feldschau. Then once he canvassed the country for a chief, then they decided they wanted someone local. So in reference to that, it was, I believe, poor judgment on their part to have the city manager to go out and canvass and spend the taxpayers' dollars of $70,000 when they wanted someone local initially.
Thank you, Ms. Mouton. Mr. Paredez.
Well, Ms. Mouton is exactly right. We spent a lot of money finding the most qualified candidate in the whole nation who was willing to come here and work, and it really looked to me like they didn't hire him. It was a divided vote. They didn't hire him because he was black. That's what it looked like to me, and I think I'm not the only one that it looked like that. So I did show up there and protest that. I felt like we should have hired the most qualified candidate as chosen by our process that we have. And you know, they talk about DEI. Well, no, let's just hire the most qualified candidate. It's not DEI, it's just hiring the most qualified candidate.
Thank you, Mr. Paredez. Mr. West.
Well, my one takeaway from that was also that our crime rate is in fact lower than it was 2 years ago, and we have made progress on our crime. And I'm excited about our new chief and the work that he's doing, the new systems that the police have put in place, as well as the force multiplier of the real-time crime center, because we want our officers safe, and we also want the public safe, and we want people to feel safe. And how that happens is by catching more and more of the bad guys and taking them off the street, solving crimes quickly, as we have been with our homicides, and reducing the number of homicides and violent crimes here in Beaumont. We have more work to do. We have begun, but we've made real progress at it. And I think that's what we don't want to lose, is down progress on crime is an important direction to be moving.
Thank you, Mr. West. Mr. Feldschau, 1 minute.
Well, first of all, in February of that year, it was communicated to the city manager that we hoped that he would consider promoting from within. And then I know that summer, the committee that was put together of citizens expressed their concern also about hiring local. And so please understand that my issue wasn't with Mr. Price being black, white, or brown, male or female. My concern was that the citizens that spoke to me expressed to me the desire to look to hire local or to promote from within. I wasn't endorsing any one local. I was just listening to the citizens and how they were expressing to me their concerns. Beaumont is different. What they wanted somebody who understands our culture and the politics of Beaumont, and that's why they wanted to hire local. Now, Mayor Mouton has said she'd like to add 57 new officers. I'm fine with adding 57 new officers, but at $75,000 per person, not including payroll taxes, you're looking at over a $4 million hit on our budget. So I only have one question. How are we going to pay for that?
Mr. Feldschau, thank you. Mr. Jones.
If you don't mind, please respond by giving us or giving me the question. I thought it was specifically for Mayor Mouton.
The question is specifically for each candidate, but everyone has a chance to weigh in. So in this case, we were asking about the video that she posted on social media, and if it would make it difficult to work with first responders in the elected role. So it's on a topic of crime, sir.
Absolutely. So I think the video that many were made privy to, some of the information was a bit taken out of hand, as well as some of the communications probably should not have been in the communications in the first place. But I totally agree. The city of Beaumont went for the best qualified individual throughout the entire United States for what it was that we expected. And I don't believe, and at least that's not what was communicated to us as neighbors and residents of the city of Beaumont, where the city manager had the directive of looking interior. And so being that he went throughout the entire United States to find qualified individual, one that thought outside of the box, one that had an idea of innovation, I think we missed an opportunity to not only build our community on a police relationship other than policing community. I believe in my leadership, we look forward to strengthening that partnership with our police department and growing them to a place that individuals in our city feel safe.
Thank you all. Mayor West, this next question is for you. There are 4 other people up there who want to be in your seat. During your term, you have touted a reduction in crime and progress on developing Beaumont's downtown area. So the question is, why do you deserve a second term? And others can speak to that as well.
Well, thank you for the question. And I think because we have made progress on all of those things. I mean, I didn't run for mayor of Beaumont to be mayor. I ran for a better Beaumont. And I believe the steps we're taking are accomplishing that. I think public safety, certainly something that we talk all about regularly, because it's important to all of us, whether it's our fire, police, or EMTs. And I've seen progress in all those areas. There were 5 ambulances on the street. When I got elected, now we're running 8 to 9 every day. So that's a 60% increase and ambulances on the street daily, as well as crime, but also our infrastructure and fixing that and putting the money in it and getting the work done. And that's where we've seen real progress. We've seen a lot more work getting done year over year. Also with our downtown, it had been deteriorating for decades. We took steps this past 2 years where we did an enhanced code enforcement just over a year ago, and we've gotten 60% compliance of those 27 buildings. So there's a lot more work to do, and I'm excited for the opportunity to do it.
Mr. Feldschau.
Well, one of the concerns I've had that I've made it very clear is our deficit budget. Now, we don't like using that word deficit, but it's in the budget. If you look in the budget for 2025 on page 19, bottom of the page, it says revenue deficit 3.5 million. Now, we had a deficit in 23 of 6 million, a deficit in 24 of 688,000, and then a deficit projected, as I mentioned, 3.5 million for this year. Now, that's a concern that we all should be paying attention to. Now, this is a budget that our current mayor voted for. Now, he mentions the EMS situation, and it's true. Since he's been in office, we've gone from 5 boxes on the street to now 8. But what we're failing to tell you is that we didn't hire more people, we just doubled our overtime. In 2024, we budgeted $2 million, but we spent $4 million. So have we addressed the issue of the EMS? We have, but we've done it on the backs of our firefighters. They're tired, they're wearied. And this year, we've budgeted $2.3 million, but I'm pretty sure we've already passed that. So we still have an issue. So understand, you may have more boxes on the street, but you're doing it on the back of your firefighters.
All right, and now to Mr. Jones.
Absolutely. Speaking from our community, we are done. 100% done with every individual who have served our communities, and why we thank you for the work that you have done. But we do want you all to know that you are out of touch with our community, lacking representation at the dais. And again, we are done. I've had the privilege of walking from one side of the city to the next with several neighbors of our community, and their grievances have also been expressed to our incumbent and past elected. And those grievances are older than 2, 4, or 6 years old. Mind you, many of these individuals that I'm running against have been in this space for about that time, with the exception of our incumbent mayor. But the knowledge has always been there. The voice has always been there, and now it's time to bring resolve.
Now, Ms. Mouton.
Well, I certainly understand the severity of crime in our city. Between May and August, we had 354 assaults. Those assaults result in 45% more than during my mayorship in 2022. This was from May to August of 2024. 354 people were assaulted. And so that's an increase of 45% more than when I was the mayor. Under my leadership, the Real-Time Crime Center was signed off, budgeted, and initiated. And it was approved during my mayorship. In addition to that, my plan is to implement more citizens to put their Ring doorbells and to register them so that it can be more effective than what it has been, because it is being effective.
Mr. Paredez.
Well, Mayor West is very well-meaning and a pillar of our community at what he does, real estate, but he made campaign promises of holding the line on taxes and increasing services, but instead we've seen increases in taxes and fees and a decrease in many services. So it's time to give someone new a try and let Roy go back to selling houses, which he does very well.
All right, Mr. Paredez. So now we're going to continue with this theme and kind of ask, what do you bring from the private sector, in a way, from your own personal business background to City Hall? How would that benefit the voters?
Thank you. Well, as I said, I'm born in Beaumont, lived here 62 years, and have had several careers. My dad and I used to run Beaumont Electronic on College Street, so I'm very familiar with businesses. Am I making a mistake by speaking to this? Anyway, so yes, I have quite the business background, a college degree, and a long time watching the debt go up and protesting, and I'll continue to do that in office or out of office.
Mr. West.
And the question again, I'm sorry.
How can your private sector experience, your personal business background, your real life job benefit City Hall?
Well, I certainly think it has, because I've been being in the mortgage business, doing home loans and owning real estate and renting that out to people. It's about building relationships. It's about working together. It's about hearing the needs and concerns of others. It's about problem solving. I know, and I've had a radio show for 15 years as well, so it allows me to meet people from across the community. I've continued to do that as mayor because I think it's important to be available to the public, show up across the community and attend events and hear the needs of the people firsthand, not just hear it from the dais at City Council. I'm looking forward to the continued opportunity to serve and thank people for the opportunity that I've had to this point. And I pray that you continue to give me that opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. West. In this case, Pastor Feldschau.
For the last 40 years, I've been involved in leadership, leading volunteers, bringing people to a consensus and moving them forward with a vision. For over 40 years, I've been involved in leadership training. For over 40 years, I've been involved in addressing the social ills of our community. The mayor's office is a challenging position. He has to have the strength of leadership, the character of leadership, to work with the city manager, to work with the council. He has to have the strength and the ability to stand alone, because if you're not willing to stand alone, then nobody will be willing to stand with you. So that means sometimes you have to cast a no vote even when you know you're going to be on the losing side. And so for over 40 years, I've been working with people. I've been addressing the social ills of our community. I've been solving problems. I've been bringing people together. I recognize the diversity of our city, and it's our diversity that makes us so rich. And the unity of our diversity is what creates unlimited possibilities.
Mr. Jones, how will your background benefit City Hall?
As you hear, I mostly respond with my questions as we. And because on this evening, I speak more than just for myself. As a volunteer in our community, as a veteran of the United States Army, and the only veteran that's actually running for mayor, I'm connected with our community. I have integrity. I have genuine leadership. And as a small business owner, I hear the woes of our entrepreneurs, young and old. And I believe that just with my community engagement alone, I have the opportunity to be the best ear that our citizens need, as well as the best voice that our citizens need. On the playing field that I'm on, I've been able to resolve some of the issues that many in our community face. And it happens with collaborative efforts. And I do believe that many of my opponents do not have that community engagement.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Ms. Mouton.
Well, serving as a councilwoman for 6 years of Ward 4, being a mayor for 2 years, I have the leadership that Beaumont needs to bring this city to fruition. Some of the things that I'm most proud of is bringing $34 million to the city of Beaumont with House Bill 5012 that will add infrastructure to downtown Beaumont for tourism and for a new hotel and convention center. In addition to that, I've also brought $1 million worth of AstroTurf that was donated to the city to improve 2 football fields, one being Sprott Park that the AstroTurf has literally sat there for 2 years. In addition to that, we increased the number of commercial permits, the largest in the history of the city of Beaumont under my mayorship. We also added 3 new restaurants. And so with that leadership, I've also proven that I can do that job.
And now we move on to our lightning round of viewer questions. These are quick questions from voters meant for a quick response from all candidates. You will each have 15 seconds to answer the question. We begin with you, Mr. Feldschau. Our first question comes from Jennifer Torres. She wants to know, when are they going to fix the roads in Beaumont? They are really bad. You have 15 seconds.
Well, with over 800 miles of roads in Beaumont, there's a lot of work to be done. Just know that in this budget this year, we've budgeted $24 million just to streets. So I do believe that we have spent millions of dollars over the last 6 years trying to address this issue, and we will continue to make that a priority.
Mr. Jones.
Actually, we can't fix the streets, and I do apologize for that response. If we do, without bringing in more revenue into our city, it's going to tax you even heavier and your neighbors. It's going to tax our businesses even heavier, including newer businesses that are looking to come into the city. So if we don't increase our revenues, we're going to continue to drive on bad streets.
Ms. Mouton.
Jennifer, I believe the question that you were asking is, when will the roads that's under construction right now be fixed? The roads that are under construction are a major tech dot renovation and redo of Interstate 10. So they're trying to complete that as fast as they possibly can.
Mr. Paredez.
That guy that rides around trying to see if your grass is too high, we will reassign him to be working on the roads, and reprioritizing, we can get more done.
Mr. West.
Well, we've done pavement scoring on all our roads, so we're not just spending X amount in each ward, we're doing it based on merit across the city. And certainly our infrastructure is older, but we're making great strides. We're going to continue to, and now we have a more efficient system, so I think the results will continue to improve.
All right, let's get to another lightning round question. This one is from Lenore. She writes on KFDM's Facebook page, do you support all of the people in the community and not just the left or the right? We'll start with you, Mr. Feldschau, 15 seconds.
Well, first of all, I've demonstrated through the years that I've been building bridges to all the communities, black, white, and brown. And I didn't discover, after I got into politics, I didn't just suddenly discover that we had a black community or a brown community. I've been doing this for 19 years. And when people come before the dais, I don't see race, I don't see gender, I don't see religion, I see people of Beaumont.
Mr. Jones.
Again, I engage throughout our entire community. One of the most important individuals, I think, to us all should be our youth, and I engage heavily with them as well. And I'm looking forward to building intergenerational gaps between within our communities.
Ms. Mouton.
I believe that we need to work for all citizens. That's why I'm running on unifying not only the council, but I'm running on unifying the city, because I believe every citizen deserves to have the attention that they need. If you have a question, you deserve an answer from your leaders.
Mr. Paredez.
In 62 years, I've learned to appreciate all the different types of people. And yes, it's very important to see the positive qualities. Everyone has positive and negative, and we want to see the positive in everyone and not mock anyone.
Do you support all people in the community, not just the left or the right? Mr. West.
Well, I certainly support our community. I want a better Beaumont, and I find as I go across the city, everybody wants the same thing. People do want good streets, they want good drainage, they want good sewer and water, they want public safety. So I think the needs are the same across the community. We just need to find better and more efficient ways to deliver them.
All right, this next question is from viewer Ashley Dawson. The question is, what do you see as a pressing concern for our community and safety, and how will you address it? So, Mr. Feldschau, keeping with our order, 15 seconds.
Well, first of all, I know that we're all concerned about the crime situation in Beaumont. Maslow's law, addressing the basic human needs, says that first you have to make sure that people feel safe and secure, and we have to address that issue. We have to support our first responders, and we have to bring civic and business religious leaders together because it takes a partnership to address what I believe is a moral issue.
Okay, Mr. Jones, your 15 seconds.
I believe we'll strengthen our police-community relationships by investing in our youth outreach, mental health, and address crime at its root, poverty, hopelessness, and the lack of opportunities.
Ms. Mouton.
First of all, I want to address a comment that was made by Pastor Feldschau that said I was going to hire 57 police officers. I never gave a number, but I do believe we need to hire more police officers so that we can reduce crime, reduce the time of police officers on patrol that can get to a crime scene.
Mr. Paredez.
Well, there are some people who feel left out, and we need to reach out to everyone. And this is a good time when we're voting, you know, go talk to your friends and say, hey, show up and vote. May 3, Saturday, May 3, everyone vote. Why don't we have the biggest turnout ever and we start talking to each other and working together better?
Mr. West.
Well, I believe our new police chief has taken many steps just in the year that and it hadn't been a full year since he's been chief. So I'm excited about the progress that he's making. I think the new efficiencies in using the technology is going to continue to improve our response time and our officers' efficiency in the field and keep them safe as well.
So our next viewer has a concern about a federal policy and it's trickling down to Beaumont locally. AJ Wymush writes on KFDM's Facebook page, what can the city do to protect us from recent EPA rollbacks regarding clean water and air? We'll keep the order going. Pastor Feldschau.
Well, so many of these issues are determined on the state and federal level. And we as citizens have to make sure that we talk to our legislators and ask them to make sure they pass laws that we here in Southeast Texas can live with and that will support us as a community and the industry that we have. But again, just remember, so many things are on the state and federal level.
Mr. Jones.
I believe when it comes to regulating industries and especially when it comes to environmental concerns, that should happen in-house, whether we have the federal, the state, or the county. The municipality has the opportunity to offer regulations.
Ms. Mouton.
Yes, EPA is a federal issue. However, I believe with us being in the petrochemical area that we can work together with our petrochemical industry along with our state representatives. Because if we work together, I believe we can come up with the right solution.
Mr. Paredez.
The federal government has removed a lot of protections that we used to have recently with this new administration. So midterm elections are coming up and we can get our protections back from the EPA. Please vote, everyone, in every election. Thank you.
Mr. West.
Well, I know ExxonMobil has announced that they're doing an advanced recycling unit here, which I know the city is already looking forward to partnering with them on recycling needs here in the city. And I think being aware of building partnerships with industry, keeping our community safe, and also partnering with industry to bring future projects here as well is very important.
All right, now we move out of the lightning round. Now we're back to our regular questions. This next question deals with downtown development. No city can thrive and survive with a dead downtown. We all know it, and the city is working on plans to strengthen our downtown. The revitalization plan was revealed in 2023, and it shows plans for a Riverwalk, new hotel, retail shops, restaurants, and more. Here's the question. What will you do to further downtown development? And we will first go to Mr. Feldschau.
Well, first of all, I do believe that there are things that need to be done. I think downtown development has to be sensible. That means it has to make sense to our citizens and it has to have their support. Do I believe that we can and should have a convention center hotel? Yes, I do. Do I believe that our civic center can be renovated into a convention center? Yes, I do. Do I believe we can take the AT&T footprint and turn that into a green space with amenities? Yes, I do. Do I believe that we can have a linear landscaped median all the way from there to the event center where people can walk, jog, ride a bike? Yes, I do. Do I believe that Beaumont needs a river walk? No, I don't. We're telling you that it'd take $110 million. I don't believe you can do it for that. I believe it's going to be 150 or maybe more. We have to remember it has to be sensible. It has to make sense to us. This is not San Antonio. This is Beaumont, Texas. And downtown development has to make sense to our citizens and have their support.
Mr. Jones?
I think downtown development is ideal, but I don't believe that we should push it before some of the more in-your-face issues, right? Especially when we have sewer that bubbles into our tubs and over into our homes or onto our streets without proper cleanup. I do believe that, you know, to have this downtown is ideal, but we still cannot properly walk into downtown. I do believe that downtown has great opportunities, especially for individuals with innovative thinking, individuals that will have the opportunity to invest in their own city. I don't believe that we should put a downtown project before some of these real life issues that we're facing on a consistent basis.
Ms. Mouton?
Well, I'm proud to say that I was part of the beginning of the downtown development. We voted to purchase the downtown AT&T building. We voted to tear down the downtown AT&T building to make the expansion. I traveled to Austin with State Rep Christian Manuel to testify on behalf of the citizens of Beaumont to bring back $34 million for downtown development. And so I will do everything possible to continue the downtown development. I believe the downtown is the heartbeat of every and any city. And I look forward to continuing the work that I started with Riverfront and the continuation of the downtown development.
Mr. Paredez?
Well, that question began with a false premise. It's not spending a lot of money on downtown that makes a prosperous city. It's the prosperous city that will revive your downtown. And the way you have a prosperous city is keep your taxes low and make the business environment very positive and helpful to business. So it's not the downtown that you want to spend a lot of money on. It's not going to help Beaumont to spend $100 million trying to develop it. That's just going to raise taxes and make it worse.
Mr. West?
Well, we hadn't been talking about tax increases, and we've actually seen our property tax rate go down. But downtown development isn't about spending money from our roads and sewer and water to downtown. We're going to keep spending and increasing our spending there, but we want to attract people here so that it will increase revenue. We've done that creating an economic development department within the city, which we hadn't had, and we hired a director this past year, which I'm excited about. We've also done a TERS for the downtown area, the Central Business District, and the downtown full-service convention center hotel. We have a pre-development agreement that we're going to be getting a report and feasibility study on next month. So I think many exciting things are happening downtown. We need a vision for downtown. Cities that revive, it begins downtown. And we are on the Neches River. We're opening our riverfront park back up right now. It's a beautiful park, so we need to take advantage of the riverfront. We love water here in Southeast Texas, and I know we'll see growth in downtown.
Thank you, Mayor West. One final round of questions. Let's talk about crime. This one goes to you first, Mr. Jones. Simple question. What should be done to combat crime in the city of Beaumont?
Again, as I stated, we will strengthen our relationships in policing, or rather relationship policing within our communities. Emboldening our neighborhood associations with the tools and equipments that they need to address on the ground issues. Our neighborhood associations are some of the first individuals that hear the outcries of our neighbors. So give them what it is they need. Invest in our youth, outreach, and mental health, and address, again, crime at its root. Poverty is identified, hopelessness is identified, and the lack of greater opportunity. As mayor, I look to bring forth innovative and intuitive jobs, careers, and aid to our citizens.
Ms. Mouton.
In terms of crime, I believe that we need to increase our police department. In order to combat the crime, we need to have a larger police force. Of course, it's going to cost money, and we will have to pay for it. But I believe if we have a bond issue to cover the increase of the cost, raise the pay of the police officers, then we will be able to recruit more police officers here in Beaumont. Under my plan as mayor, I believe that I will also encourage citizens to register their doorbells to help out with the real-time crime center that is in use, that is helping to deter some of the crime. And of course, the crime has come down with the use of the real-time crime center, and we will have to operate with more employees manning that real-time crime center. But I believe crime is not something that any city does not struggle with, but with the proper planning, we can reduce it.
Combating crime, Mr. Paredez.
We have a man sitting in a wheelchair who was not beat up by an illegal alien gang or whoever, but he's beat up by the police. And now the city's going to have to pay a $10, $15 million judgment to take care of that man, the medical care. So that hurts the taxpayers. And then we can't hire police. We need to have a civilian review board to assist the police chief in removing corrupt police officers from the BPD.
Thank you, Mr. Paredez. Mr. West.
Well, I think we see that our police do a great job of solving crime, but solving crime isn't just the issue. It's important to get the crime solved, but we've got to address the root of the issue, and certainly we have a lot of poverty here in Beaumont. We're at 20%, the national average is 11%, and we need more youth initiatives. We've had the breakdown of families that have happened across this country and in our culture, but we need to find avenues to get the kids back involved and offer them alternatives. We're partnering with the school district and certainly with Texas Workforce, but also making sure through youth initiatives, through athletic programs, through mentoring programs, that track, basketball, flag football, I believe, is coming this fall. I think that's a very important thing that is already happening, and I think we'll continue to see dividends from that.
Mr. Feldschau.
Well, first of all, I do believe in support for our first responders, adequate budgeting, salaries. We have to compete with the neighboring cities that are constantly trying to hire away our finest. We have to equip them and train them. And then there has to be a strong voice at City Hall advocating for our first responders. There has to be a community solution to a citywide problem. That's why I keep saying there's a partnership between civic, business, and religious leaders, because our crime is a moral issue, and there has to be economic development. Any community has to face that triple threat of poverty, education, and crime. They go hand in hand. So there has to be an investment in our youth. There has to be men and women that will step up and be leaders that will simply do what's right and set an example and invest in the next generation.
All right, on to our closing statements now.
Yes, Mr. West, we'll hear from you first.
All right, well, I've certainly appreciated the opportunity to be mayor for the last 2 years, and I'm excited about the progress we've made, as I've talked about, but we've got more progress to make. And I believe that we as a council have been very successful with that, working with our city administration. We've made great strides. When we talk about finances, I just want to address the fact that our city requires $44 million in reserve funds in our 3 different funds, our water utility fund, our solid waste fund, and general fund. We currently have $66 million, which is $22 million of surplus reserves. Our finances are in excellent shape. We're at AA3 rating with the bond rating. We're going through another one now. I am excited about the future of Beaumont.
Mr. Paredez.
Well, one thing we did not touch is that Beaumont sits on a pool of petrochemicals, and the royalties have been disappearing, and they really should go to every citizen of Beaumont. Like in many other places, you have the sheiks in Arab lands that have $1 million in the bank, and I'm not saying that our check would be that much, but I'd like the legal resources of the city assigned to obtaining the royalties that are due to the citizens of Beaumont.
Ms. Mouton, 1 minute.
I believe that Beaumont deserves a steady, experienced leader that can go in and listen to the citizens. Also, lead with purpose. And I believe that purpose is to unite and unify this city. I believe it's to make the city safe for all citizens. And I also believe that we can also prosper this city. There's $22 million in reserve that I feel like the administration could have used to advance several problems in this city. We have the best resources possible in this city. We have a great port, we have an interstate, we have a major university. I want to be the voice in City Hall to make those changes. Number one on the ballot, Mouton for mayor.
Mr. Jones.
Beaumont, this is the moment. It is bigger than any one of us here vying for your vote. It's about our future. I'm not running to be famous. I'm running to be faithful. Faithful to the people who've poured into me over the years, who have believed in the ideas that we have collectively and collaborated together. Faithful to our youth who deserves a real shot here in our city, whether they grow up here and grow old. Faithful to the idea that Beaumont can rise again. I'm Christopher Unc Jones. I've served this city. I've served you as neighbors, and I'm ready to lead. Let's turn the page together. Vote number 3 for Mayor, Christopher Jones.
Mr. Feldschau.
We could talk a lot about the fund balance with the general fund with taxes or the enterprise fund with fees. And we could talk about mixing those things, but we need to be careful. But the fact is this, your operational expenditures are exceeding your operational revenue. We're spending more than what we're taking in. And I believe it is time for leadership that will just simply do what's right, that will not make political promises that they can't keep, that will not give in to political pressure from a few people, that will stand up and be responsible with our finances, that will not just promote themselves and get into political grandstanding. Beaumont is ready for a new kind of leader, one that will just simply do what is right. And you should expect more from your leaders, beginning with me. I'm Randy Feldschau, and I'm running for Beaumont City Mayor, and I need your vote. I ask you for your vote because your voice does matter.
Well, that is all for our Beaumont mayoral debate. We thank all of our candidates for participating and being here tonight. We hope that you will join us over on KFDM 6 News at 10.
And don't forget, election night coverage on May 3rd and early voting is underway right now. Good night, everyone.
This debate has been sponsored by Natchez Federal Credit Union.